The search for alternative cures is what drives some to essential oils. And some users even reject traditional medicine and treatments.
My kids suffered at times. I mean, if they had a cold or something, I didn't give them Tylenol. I always tried to use oils.
One of the biggest names in the essential oils business is Young Living. The multi-level marketing company claims to bring in over $1.5 billion in annual sales. Insider spent a year interviewing more than 80 people and reviewing thousands of pages of government and legal documents about Young Living.
The process of finding former Young Living employees willing to talk to me was certainly a challenge. They were afraid that the company would come after them.
Our investigation found that the company has likely evaded FDA regulations for years, and some members have sold oils using medical claims that have little to no basis in science.
I was like a shameless ambulance chaser. You know, if anybody had any kind of problem, if they said it on Facebook, oh, you know, my son's not sleeping, I'm like, okay, I'm on it. I got what you need. I felt like I had the answer to every problem because there was an oil that would answer every problem.
Melissa Armstrong was looking for PTSD treatment in 2010 after being in the Air Force for about 10 years. A friend selling Young Living products suggested she use an oil called Trauma Life.
I was tired of using a lot of pharmaceutical medicine, so I was told that I could take one particular oil blend and substitute it for the medication I was on for my PTSD. It was maddening because I was sold a bill of goods.
She was one of Young Living's 6 million members, frequently receiving new oils through the mail and using them for everything from house cleaning to heartburn.
I gave Brian some lavender and peppermint in a capsule for heartburn, and it wound up hurting him more.
Studies on essential oils tend to be limited in scope, and medical experts like Dr. Brooks told Insider there is little evidence that oils have tangible health benefits.
The essential oils can help foster a calming environment, much like classical music, but they're not medicines.
But our investigation found that hasn't stopped members who are technically not Young Living employees from suggesting it to people. That was part of Jean's strategy. She was involved with the company for over a decade and asked to conceal her identity because many of her friends are still members.
I painted this picture of a toxic world to other people too in my classes, and then presented to them as a solution, these oils and the products from Young Living, as if it was kind of like their savior.
In a statement to Insider, the company said that, quote, no member is permitted to make inaccurate claims about Young Living's products, and the company promotes only FDA-compliant marketing material.
What we learned was that a lot of members in private Facebook groups or at parties in people's homes were making inappropriate product claims about the oils.
The company received a warning from the FDA in 2014 because members were promoting the oils as drugs and claiming that oils could treat conditions such as Ebola, Parkinson's disease, autism, and cancer.
I see people delaying going to the doctor because they're kind of doing this crowd diagnosing online or just from a fellow Young Living member. And I know with myself, with hormonal issues, I should have gone to the doctor years ago, but I was searching for just the right oil.
Young Living told Insider that it, quote, does not advocate the use of essential oils outside of the labeled usage instructions and the advice of any individual's medical doctors. But the company still claims clinically proven benefits of essential oils do exist. But even years after the FDA warning, Insider was able to find claims on social media about preventing the spread of the coronavirus with oils.
You should definitely not use essential oils in hopes of preventing any virus or bacterial or fungal infection, including COVID.
Young Living said it has removed more than 1,500 improper COVID-related claims made independently by members. Former employees described the FDA warning as a wake-up call. They said they had to scour the internet for inappropriate claims and keep their members in line. We interviewed a former member from Young Living's legal team. We changed his name and altered his voice because he fears retaliation. He says one person who was still not holding back after the FDA warning, the company's founder, Gary Young.
He was absolutely convinced that all of the oils were safe, that there should be no warnings on them, that they could be taken internally. Even though we would warn him that he couldn't say things about oils, he would just say stuff. I did oil injections, and even though people say you can't inject oils, I did it and it healed me.
Gary Young is a man who was absolutely revered and loved within this company. He knew how to command a stage. He would go and talk for hours and hours about the healing properties of his oils.
It almost seemed like he had these supernatural powers. Of course, I would hear negative things, but I'd always dismiss it.
Young's own journey toward alternative treatments goes back to when he took nutrition and naturopathy classes at a number of unaccredited schools. But through the years, Young had a series of run-ins with the law. He was arrested in 1983 for practicing medicine without a license after offering prenatal services to undercover police officers posing as a pregnant couple. Young then established a health company in San Diego. A few years later, the state of California filed a complaint against him for selling unapproved drugs and claiming he could cure cancer and other diseases. A brochure from his clinic in Mexico also showed it offered a 21-day cancer program, and Young was listed as the doctor. He went on to establish Young Living in the 90s, and he opened another center here in Ecuador. That's where Young Living runs a school and a clinic called Nova Vita. Its website lists a series of IV treatments that can increase oxygen or improve your neurological system.
People are going down to Ecuador and they're intravenously injecting essential oils into them for health reasons and to try to cure their diseases.
I don't know who the healthcare providers are, but they should be sanctioned and/or lose their license. It's so outrageous and it's so potentially dangerous.
Young Living did not respond to inquiries about their operations in Ecuador. Instead, a spokesperson said the company was, quote, committed to doing good in our communities in the United States and beyond. Young passed away in May of 2018. Young Living told Insider that the company, quote, has evolved far beyond its founder's unique history and described Young as a maverick, adding that it is also true that many of Young Living's members and customers maintain those beliefs today. By 2015, the company Young built had surpassed $1 billion in annual sales. But some people selling the oils lose money. The company is being sued by a former member who filed a class action complaint claiming they lost thousands of dollars buying and promoting Young Living products. Robert Lincoln represents another former member who filed a separate proposed class action lawsuit claiming the company, quote, operates an illegal pyramid scheme.
It wasn't until she had literally a closet full of vials that she went, wait a second, I've been buying all these vials. I've lost a tremendous amount of money. I haven't sold very much of this at all. It is a bit of a cult. They've created this mythology of healthy living through the essential oils. And that's part of what has made Young Living grow at such an exponential rate as compared to other MLMs.
MLMs, or multi-level marketing companies, have existed for more than half a century. Think of Tupperware parties.
Plan to have or attend the Tupperware party soon.
At Young Living, members can attempt to make money by selling the oils. However, experts say the real money tends to come from recruiting friends and family below them in the chain, the so-called downline, and making commission off of them. And to qualify for commission, members have to spend a minimum amount on products each month. At the very top of the chain are the Royal Crown Diamonds, who bring in an average of $1.5 million a year. but they make up less than 0.1% of distributors. Meanwhile, 89% of members make an average of $4 every year.
I had 300 people below me. Every single person was basically breaking even under me or losing money. And I was the only one making anything, and I'm not even really making minimum wage.
Young Living states that members simply have the potential of earning income. And in a statement, the company told Insider, quote, "The success of participants varies greatly. The oils are expensive. A bottle of Raven can cost non-members $47, Valor $52, and frankincense $99. Melissa said she stopped buying them in 2016 after spending more than $2,000. Oils are still a part of her routine, but now she uses other brands.
They sell the idea of a healthier lifestyle, financial freedom, and I really didn't see any of that.
Jean still has about 100 bottles of Young Living oils sitting at home. After more than 10 years, she walked away and distanced herself from what she used to call her oily family.
I realized that oils were absolutely overtaking my life. And I felt not only that I had been manipulated by that, but I had done the same thing to other people.
What pushed her away from the company was her team's reaction when she said she would take classes elsewhere.
They looked at me very disapproving and asked, why would you want to do that? Young Living has all the information that you would ever need on how to use oils. My ordering was falling off, and I got a call, and then they said, "Don't you want to be wealthy?" And I thought for a second, and I said, "No." They basically have just abandoned me. I've been ghosted, and I felt like I was going to be friends for life because I saw myself being with this company for life, that it was a lifestyle and that it was going to be forever.